Why, hello all, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe 21 Love, here with your AEW Collision review. Hope everyone has having a fine Monday. Yes, it's Monday. Better late than never. Yes, Collision was Saturday night. It was a bit of a busy weekend as far as, school priorities and stuff, but alas, I'm here for your AEW Collision review. So, you'll still get my thoughts, my words about how Collision went, and just all vibe, which, we're a few weeks in. And now, so far, Collision has been stout and good. Yes, the ratings are not left to be desired. I mean, on me, it's obviously left on the bone in the sense that, well, you look at it as a casual fan, it's AEW's third show they put on TV. And I mean, really, as an avid watcher of AEW, it should be their second show, their secondary show. And it's been consistent thus far. That's what you like to see. Of course, Rampage fell off a notch, and hopefully that's not the case with Collision. But so far, a few weeks in, Collision has been consistently good, and it's all we can hope for. Honestly, if I had to make a suggestion, if Rampage, they went away with that and just merge it with Ring of Honor, I think it would be better. But last three shows, and that's probably the why, and plus it's on a Saturday night. So, but nonetheless, it was a good show. We had, finals are now set in the Owen Hart Cup tournament for the men. We got CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. Both had very, I'd say, solid matches with their opposition tonight in Powerhouse Hobbs, which, despite now, is going to get a W. It seems. Excuse me, going away from QTV, QT Marshall, Harley Cameron, that whole shtick, and also Samoa Joe. I mean, doesn't take too much from this loss, but good show. Despite those being solid matches, the match of the night definitely was FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, Jay White and Juice Robinson. I mean, what they have done thus far, Jay White and Juice, I mean, kudos. I mean, Jay White, you can complain about all you want that he's been buried, he's this or that. The reality is he's just been very, yes, he's a main event level talent, but they're moving him up slowly but surely through the ranks and in AEW, and the way he's helped carry Juice through this formation has been very solid because Juice is very entertaining and he's a solid wrestler as well. And they won. They won against FTR in a championship eliminator match, which obviously I'm not fond of. It's a lazy way to get challengers from point A to point B, a championship match. But alas, we don't see we've probably seen maybe a handful, less than that, of champions losing eliminator matches on TV. So, once in a while, it's okay. Just not being repetitive with it. But, nonetheless, Juice and Jay White got the win. Which, by the way, I'm glad that Juice got the win because really he's the fall guy. He's, if someone's got to take a fall for Bullet Cup Gold, it's going to be Juice. And he's been losing a bit lately. So it was refreshing to see him get the pinfall there in the match. And next week, 2 out of 3 falls, which should be fun in and of itself. But yeah, Collision was good. But before we get into it in the review, thank you guys. Join me on this Monday. Hope everyone's having a good start to their week. Yeah, all of that. But of course, if you like, subscribe, it's all somewhere. So look for subscription box, notification bell. It's there. Thank you. We got a couple new subscribers now on channel, now up to 22. Let's try to keep it going. Best we can. But alas, thank you. And let's get started with the review. So, Collision started off. I like how we start with these intros, like, feels nostalgic and old school. So, we heard from the 4 guys left in the Owen Hart Cup eliminator tournament for the men between Punk, Joe, Hobbs, and Sarks. And last one we heard, which, by the way, the Elton John theme for the show you know, really holds its own. Really holds its own for the show. And hard to not enjoy it. But so we heard the last from CM Punk, and then he walked out to the crowd. He didn't walk out to the ring. He walked out to ringside, and he basically talked up to the crowd, tried to rile them up. Um, one thing I didn't like was he claimed this being the most important match of his career, which clearly we know not. But nonetheless, try to work up this match. Said, he talked about on Hart, talked about, well, win, lose, or draw. He wants everybody to be chanting Owen Hart's name because, like it or not, if it wasn't for him, those people in the back wouldn't be there. He may not be there. Joe might not be there. Starks, Hobbs, etc. And then no matter what, he's going to do it for Owen. So, in the end, he touched the trophy. He did say he's going to touch the trophy not because he deserves it, but because he's going to earn it. So, gave a kiss, walked off to the Elton John theme. Saturday night's alright for a fight. And that was a good start. It led into a highlight of the history of CM Punk and Samoa Joe. Their matches from a number of years ago in Ring of Honor. Of course, how Punk is not being Joe. Prelude to his match tonight, or Saturday. But it was a fun video package, simple. And then from, obviously, prelude of one half of the semifinals, going to the other. The first match of the night. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks. Powerhouse. Powerhouse Hobbs. It's crazy how presentation matters in wrestling. And his entrance may very well be one of the best currently in wrestling. I mean, just the way his theme goes into it, his presence. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy it. That's how we start. Talk about a good homage to Owen Hart for his singlet. It was black, but with the pink stripes. in honor of Owen Hart, how he used to wear. And that was a good touch. Ricky Starks came out, and you could just feel like, yep, chills of these four, or these two. You know, been a while. Been a while. So, like I said, the match was solid. It had a couple of weird botches, but overall, or miscues, but solid match for what it was. Wasn't as good as their previous encounters, but still a solid match. So, obviously, the power for speed agenda is how we got going. So, Sarks initially knocked Hobbs to the outside by a Hobbs Todd with a lariat. QT was choking Sarks behind the referee's back for a bit. Hobbs used his strength, him throw across the ring, followed with the delayed vertical suplex. Starks, we saw, was favoring his back and his ribs. So, it led Hobbs to focus on Starks' ribs. He had a big bear hug or he latched on, I should say. Latched on a big bear hug, favoring the ribs of Starks. Made a little bit of comeback before getting countered by Hobbs, and then back away, and then Hobbs going for 10 punches in the corner, but Ricky fired back with a powerbomb out of the corner for a near fall. So, went for his tornado DT off the ropes. It looked like that Hobbs caught Ricky, but it looked like there was, miscue with timing, momentum. Ricky didn't get all of it. And they kind of tumbled over Silver DT. And then QT interfered again. So, Hobbs hit a spinebuster after QT Marshall grabbed the leg of Sarks and went for the cover. But Aubrey Edwards, she was distracted. And so Hobbs had it won. He basically had Sarks down for like a 10 count. And I mean, it was just did feel a bit clunky as Hobbs, or excuse me, QT had the referee distracted. Could have just gotten down and then been combined Hobbs with Vince, but that was not the case. So then Hobbs got up. He was in distress as, he had the match won. So Hobbs got in QT's face for a bit and telling him, get down. And again, this felt kind of clunky for a while. But then, finally, Ricky Starks got up, shoved Hobbs into Marshall, and they collided. Marshall got knocked off the ropes or apron, and Starks came off the ropes with a spear on Hobbs for the win, and Ricky Starks advanced to the finals of the Owen Hart Cup. So, besides the miscues, solid match for what it was. Afterwards, again, missed timing. So, excuse me. So Marshall tried to console Hobbs, and Hobbs was irate. So Marshall was on the ground and is like, okay, is Hobbs going for the attack on Marshall? And then eventually, Aaron Solo got to the ring, took a big spine buster from Hobbs. Then, finally, Harry Cameron got into the ring and fended off Hobbs, and Hobbs just left. So, Hobbs leaving QTV seems to be the key. I mean, yeah. Hobbs on his own, Hobbs is a beast. All due respect to all due respect to QT Marshall can generate some heat. I mean, he's not looked at as a serious manager. And a guy like Hobbs he doesn't need a big mouthpiece or a serious mouthpiece, but could certainly could do better, much better than QT Marshall and QTV. And considering Johnny TV, John Morrison, aka former Johnny Elite, is now in AEW, now aligned with QT Marshall and QTV. Seems like this way to branch off Powerhouse Hobbs from the group. Miro, Miro had a little good vignette in the back as he always does. You know, talked about a big reveal, something coming up. Talked about what does a man have to fear who he doesn't have someone to answer to. Talked about being godless and talked about his double jointed wife. I mean, continue to talk about this reveal or something we've all been waiting for um, in the wings. What is that? We'll see. But, you know, the fact that we've gotten some form of Miro on so far of Collision this last few weeks is obviously a plus. It's just now the question of next, will we get a story of Miro now? You know, involved in something, you know, could be going after gold. You know, we'll see how. I mean, honestly, I mentioned this last week. If Tony Khan wants a big name to take that title from Miro or Orange Cassidy, Miro's certainly a guy to take that title from Orange Cassidy because I think Orange Cassidy has done all he could do with that title right now. And, you know, we'll see how he and Darby fare in this tournament. I mean, they obviously don't need to be in it, especially Orange, considering he's a champion already. I get it that it's blind, but, you know, we'll see. But, yeah, Miro, we shall see. Willow and Athena both were. So, a match a lot of people were invested in for this Collision show. So, Willow versus Athena in the semifinals of this tournament, the ONR Cup. Now, it was revealed in a tweet that Willow got hurt after about losing her New Japan Strong Women's Championship versus Julie. And they announced that they postponed the match to Rampage. Now, on one hand, okay, there's obviously the pros and cons. The pros is okay, you know, okay. if she's not medically cleared, at least AEW didn't just throw her out there, uh, even though they advertised this match. And Will gets another chance. But at the same time, you know, it's a tournament. So it's like not medically cleared um, to compete, and she gets another chance. And the other thing is, it's on Rampage, not Dynamite. I mean, if Rampage 8 to 9 times out of 10 is taped after Dynamite. So it's like, I mean, if I had to choose, I'd pick Willow versus Athena over Sky Blue and Ruby Soho to happen on Dynamite if one match was to happen. Even though everybody loves Sky Blue. But, and she's good. But, nonetheless, I mean, on Rampage, when not a lot of people watch I mean, it's weird. It's weird because, you know, it's happening on Friday. Taped on Wednesday. I mean, I'd rather just save it to next week on Collision instead of Rampage, but oh well. So anyway, I think obliged by challenge for Rampage, and then Will implied maybe after she'll go after her or Ring of Honor Women's Championship of Athena after she wins the tournament. So we'll see. We'll see. So prompted Julie Hart, who I mean, another person, you know, her presentation, her theme, you know, she was out there with Brody King. She's facing some. Sorry, didn't catch her name. But it was a girl from Canada. I know that. Um, Anyways, it wasn't a long match here. You know, pretty short. And Julie Hart won with the Heartless, aka a Rings of Saturn like finisher, and got the tap. Julia gets another victory. So, there you go. Malachi Black. He had a little I tell you, how Malachi Black conducts his promos or his video packages are just great. He talked about, you know, the House's feud with Andrade, how Andrade wants the mask back, and saying how together they can really show what he knows, how good he is. So maybe feud, maybe trying to recruit Andrade. Andrade was shown right after this, interviewed by Lexi there, and he conducted himself well. You're always worried about the English of Andrade, but he handled himself fairly well. Say he's not a coward like Malachi, saying with his mask brings his culture, brings his tradition. His mask is personal, but when he takes it off, it's about business. So curious, who's gonna try to back up Andrade in this feud with the House of Black? We shall see. Jay White and Juice Robinson, World Cup Gold versus FTR. Tag title eliminator match. Like I said, this match was fun, very, very good. Try to go overall best I can. But yeah, this was a fun match, almost over 20 minutes. Very good. FTR, I get they haven't done much with titles, but in this little feud with Bullet Club Gold, I kind of enjoy. And yeah, this match was very good. Juice is underrated. Jay White, I mean, what else can you say? Guy's only like 29, 30 years old. And still has a lot to do. So, Juice hit a hot shot to Cash, sending him to the outside. Joe White then suplex Cash on the apron. Behind the referee's back, so they were pretty much cornering Cash for a while. Jay White, he went for a California stretch. Basically a modified SCF on Cash Wheeler. And then right in front, he spit in Dax Harwood's face. And so then Dax tried to get involved. He got sent to the barricade by Juice. Cash then was sent to the bottom turnbuckle for near fall. Then a counter crossbody on Jay for a near fall. Then they were all on the outside. Dax finally got into the ring. Dax hit a roll up for a near fall. He went for consecutive German suplexes on Jay before transitioning into a brainbuster for a nice looking near fall. Juice then was dumped on the apron as FTR hit the superplex, frog splash combination. Always looks good for a 2. Jay fired back. He rolled up Dax for near fall. FTR then hit the assisted power driver, but only for a 2. Juice broke it up. So Jay White hit a shoulder cap, almost like a fisherman buster on Dax for a near fall. Dax hit his slingshot powerbomb on Jay for 2 count. Jay hit a blade runner on Cash, taking him out for the time being. Finally, a chop fest ensued between Dax and Jay White. So Jay was in the corner, and behind his back, Juice tagged in, made a blind tag. Then it was 2-on-1. Dax rolled up Jay White, but he was not the legal man. So Juice took advantage his implant DT. 1, 2, 3. Cash was late to the party to break it up, and Bullet Club Gold get the victory. So afterwards, Bullet Club Gold interrupted FTR in the back, and challenge was made. Next week, 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Interesting. With this and the Blind Eliminator tournament, it's going to be unique to see how things go, I will say. I mean, like we said, FTR hasn't done much with the titles. But at the same time, you want to help build, Jay White and Bullet Club Gold. Certainly a way to start out, I'd say. So we got Scorpio Sky versus Action Andretti. Scorpio Sky, he made a promo last week talking about his return. Great to see. We have not seen him on TV since he lost the TNT title Wardlow last year. Now he's back. Nice little match with Andretti to get him back into shape or back on the right track. And solves mesh well together. So, Andretti went for a 450. Missed, hit a Spanish fly for 2. Get a drop kick in the corner. Missed a big splash. But Scorpio Sky ultimately won with TKO for the win. And yeah, So return match, of course, he's gonna get the dub. Good stuff. Main event: CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. First time in 18 years. This was slow and methodical to start, but once it picked up, it picked up. It's good. So, first, Joe laid in some big strikes, some big chops. Then a kick which knocked Punk down. Went for a choke early. After on the outside. But Punk countered and hit a suplex to Joe, which broke it up. Punk got the advantage. Hit the Shining Wizard in the corner. Followed with the lariat. Then top rope elbow for a 2. Punk went for GTS. Managed to get Joe on his shoulders. But Joe countered to choke. Crossface by Joe. Punk got to the ropes. Joe continued on the advantage. Went for a powerbomb, but Punk fought out of it. Joe hit a snap power slam for a near fall. Punk fired back with a roundhouse kick, but only for a 2. So, pretty much back and forth at the end. So, Punk went for GTS, but then Joe got to the finish. Joe then countered to a sleeper, but Punk countered to a victory roll. 1, 2, 3, and Punk finally gets victory over Samoa Joe. And it'll be CM Punk versus Ricky Starks. And main events are in the finals of the Owen Hart Cup for the men next week in Calgary, which should be fun. Yeah, we shall see. I'm curious. So, what happened afterwards? So, afterwards, Joe offered his hand, and they shook hands, but right away, Joe transitioned to choke and choked out Punk. Afterwards, he got a chair, but the FTR ran down to prevent anything further. And then we saw Ricky Starks come out, and he was on the stage, locked eyes with Punk for a bit, and then left. So, read of that what you may, but I wonder if Starks will turn heel or something next week. But yeah, I really hope that next week we get. I mean, look, I'll be fine if Punk wins the tournament, but I mean, deeply you gotta be rooting for Ricky Starks. I mean, Starks, you know, obviously his momentum was dropped a bit after his feud with MJF, and Jericho was a nice feud, but nothing really after. Now, adding the Owen Hart Cup to his name and potentially what happens afterwards, certainly be good. Certainly be good for him, I'd say. And, Jay White cost CM Punk. It's a possibility. We shall see. Anyways, guys, that's the podcast for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, if you did, like, subscribe, which somewhere. But anyways, you guys, get just if you like the video, leave a like, thumbs up. But yeah, never late than never. Got the Collision review up for you guys. Obviously, now later this week, we'll have your Dynamite review, in which semis for the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament, which, by the way, I saw more of on Rampage, saw the clips of it. So, yeah. And then Sunday, again, hopefully Sunday, you'll have your AEW Collision review. So, keep in mind for both. But, yeah, thank you guys. See you guys later this week. Adios. Peace.